What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Turn the Jets podcast. I'm your host, Will Parkinson, at Will11 on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. All 32 TOJ talks, the whole 9 yards. Back from another day at Jets camp. Jets Giants joint practice. Obviously, the pod yesterday with Rich Cimini. We previewed that, but also just talked about camp, recap, and Saturday. So make sure you check that out. Joe and Connor will be on the feed shortly. The new Jet Heads came out this morning. A lot on the feed. Live show. We're 11 days out. Buy your fucking tickets. I know I have 3 guests coming up on stage. During my segment, Joe and Connor will be doing their thing. Paul, Meeks, Dan, I believe Max will be in attendance. Jake is coming in after his big Taylor Swift podcast on his other job. So a lot there. Buy your tickets. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll talk ball, Rangers breakaway, I believe, talk some baseball, the whole 9 yards. Jets Giants joint practice. I'm going to walk through the day as a whole, just what I witnessed, what I wasn't able to see, because they're on both practice fields and things like that. So no Malik Neighbors, no Andrew Thomas, no Jalen Hyatt for the Giants, and no Evan Neal. Jets, a lot of injuries, but a lot of smaller injuries, obviously, but had a lot of guys banged up. Great news, Jermaine Johnson, Quinnen Williams, both back at practice today. A little surprised Quinn was back today, but working off to the side, was in uniform. Ryan Cowart, another one in uniform, back at practice. Guys like Azaria Thomas, Tyrod Taylor had a procedure. He'll be out for the next couple weeks. Alan Lazard's out at least the next 2 weeks with his shoulder. But those guys were not at practice. Azaria Thomas, Isaiah Davis, other guys that were banged up. Other than that, most people came back, right? Kenny Nwanu's back. More importantly, which I'll get to in a minute, Mason Taylor is back, and in full speed Mason Taylor. And let me tell you, that's the best the Jets tight ends looked in quite some time. So let's start off. They go through 7-on-7. For context, again, on 2 separate practice fields, so I want to be clear. I didn't get to watch all of the Jets defense versus all of the Giants offense. I know what happened based on talking to all the guys from the Giants side that were over there, but I mainly focused Jets offense for Giants defense. I just thought that was going to be a more important battle, especially the guys that were missing. Would have loved to see Neighbors Sauce, or love to see Andrew Thomas versus Will McDonald. We weren't going to get that, so decided to focus on Justin Fields in this offensive line versus the Giants front. 7-on-7 starts up. I thought Justin Fields looked amazing. Thought he built on exactly what – not amazing. He looked really good. Built on exactly what he had been doing Saturday afternoon, Saturday night. First 4 balls come out of his hand. First 3, more checkdowns. Gets through his progressions. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dumps it off. Braylon Allen got one of Josh Reynolds. The 4th play of 7-on-7 I thought was one of his better plays of the day. 1, 2, 3, rolls out, hits Braylon Allen on a wheel route of sorts. Allen goes up 15, 20-yard kind of moss in the air. It was really damn impressive catch, especially for a 250-pound back. So that was really good to see. Good start there. Jets come back. They re-rack. Another thing of 7-on-7. And, Garrett wasn't involved the first set. And, it was just like, oh, interesting. They didn't go to Garrett. They went right back to him, play after play after play. 3 in a row completions to Garrett. One really tough hands catch. He was in motion the whole time. I thought one of the biggest takeaways of all of camp, but specifically today, Garrett Wilson is in motion all the goddamn time. And it's something the Jets did a bit last year during camp, and I was excited. He got some work in the slot, got some work in different formations, and then the season starts and Rodgers stopped using motion. The Jets went back to a vanilla offense, and it kind of stopped happening. But I thought there was an impressive amount of motion used, especially in 7-on-7. I thought that was the best Fields looked in 7-on-7 all summer. Been at camp, 3 or 4 times, and I thought he's gotten better as 7-on-7. And that's a period where he's going to struggle more. 11-on-11, he's able to use his legs more, and the game's moving a little bit faster. There's a run-pass option and different things like that. 7-on-7's tough. The ball's got to be out. Time's condensed. You got, defense knows what's coming. Offense knows what's coming. So I thought he looked much better. The Jets then get into 11-on-11. 11-on-11 starts really good. First 8 plays, Fields was 12 of 13 combined to start practice. The one was an amazing play by Javon Holland. Ball's in Reynolds' chest. Great play by Fields. Great throw. Reynolds was open. Thought he caught it, and Holland came through and punched it out. This is a really just awesome play from a guy who's a $15, $16 million a year safety. That's what happens. So Fields started off well. I thought the best play of the day from Fields, and probably the offense overall, and I'll get to one from Mason Taylor in a second, but going to 11-on-11, Abdul Carter got home. That dude, I'm going to talk about him in a second. That dude is fucking unbelievable. He's rushing over Joe Tittman. Yeah, Abdul Carter, 230-pound Abdul Carter was rushing over Joe Tittman. He beats him. Tittman looked good today, but that was the one time he got beat. And Fields bails left. And usually, Fields got more of a baseball wind up. I wasn't expecting to see like a really nice off-platform throw there. Drops one in a dime, 25 yards on the sideline, and Tyler Johnson, who makes a fantastic catch over two defenders. I know the Jets tweeted out the clip. Johnson had a nice day, a couple catches at 7-on-7, a couple catches in 11-on-11. Fields obviously has some rapport with him. He had a nice play on 3rd and 5 early on Saturday as well. So great play there. And then Adrian Martinez comes in, and Mason Taylor was involved in 7-on-7, had a catch or two, but man, the Jets kind of went in a 3-by-1 alignment. They let Mason Taylor be the nub on the short side of the field, and he ran a corner route and gets over the top immediately. Did a great job of keeping a route high. Nothing frustrates me more and drives me fucking insane than tight ends and receivers who break off a corner route and try to come back downhill early. Taylor didn't do that. He kept it high, kept it skinny, let Martinez throw the ball in a bucket, and in turn was able to throw him even more open. Taylor makes a diving catch, and not only was the route awesome, the concept awesome, the whole thing. It's the fact that the Jets are able to use him as a secondary pass catcher and a true secondary option. So I'll get to Breece Hall because Breece Hall had a really, really nice day catching the football and running, but catching the football mainly. And a big question mark around the Jets has been, what do we do about the number 2 pass catcher? What do we do about our number 2 pass catching option, especially at receiver? The Jets have a lot of 3s and 4s, right? Let's be honest here and say Tyler Johnson and Josh Reynolds are a solid 3 and 4. Like, it's not like they're some bad football players, but properly aligned on a good team, they're a 3 and a 4. Josh Reynolds was the 3rd receiver, kind of quasi-second receiver on the Lions, but really was their 4th or 5th pass catching option, which meant he was a really strong player, right? Lions team gets the NFC title game because they had a number 2 option as the running backs and then tight end that could take up a lot of bulk of those reps. That's kind of the recipe for the Jets. And I know it's a lot of pressure to put on Mason Taylor year one. I understand. He's 20, he just turned 21. He's coming off a high ankle sprain in a week and somehow looked even better than he did before pre-ankle sprain. So I don't know what, serum that dude, Michael Jordan juice that dude took in the last week, but he looked unbelievable. Again, security blanket, a lot of those reps you saw Andrew Beck get on Saturday night. Mason Taylor got those reps today. And to run a corner out on the nub side, there's nothing better. You're going to have a safety or a linebacker one-on-one. Again, kept it high, kept it skinny, was able to make a diving catch. One of the best catches and best plays at camp. And again, the Jets tweeted that one out. So we can't record video, but, there's that. So that was a really good start to camp. It kind of tapered off after that period. There was one more play in that period where Jets were starting to concede some pressure. Let's be honest here. They weren't running the ball great. A couple nice runs. Kenny Nwanu had one. That was really impressive. Braylon Allen had one. Breece had one decently nice one. But other than that, Giants front was getting home at points. I mean, I'm going to be honest here. Membu did not have his best day, and to be expected. Brian Burns is really fucking good, and he looked explosive. He was beating him with speed beat speed to the outside, not even speed to power, just was straight speed off the edge. Burns has got a great first step, and so it wasn't anything concerning. I think Membu was trying to protect inside and got beat, and it happens. I think it's a good learning experience. I thought the interior held up well against Dexter Lawrence and Darius Alexander. That Giants front, I think they're the best front in the NFL. After watching today in person, maybe Philly. I don't know. I think I would take the Giants front over anybody's in the league. It was special, man. I don't know how good the Giants are going to be. They've got some huge holes at quarterback, offensive line, and corner, but the rest of that defense is really, really good. Micah McFadden's a nice player. Javon Holland, Tyler Nubin, Paulson Adebo's a good player. They got a lot of dogs on that defense, and specifically up front. And I thought Olu did a really nice job on Thibodeau. He did some nice reps against Abdul Carter. Carter did cause them problems, and Burns caused them problems as well. Especially Carter was mainly an edge against Max Mitchell at reps at left tackle, and Max is a nice reserve guard. It is what it is. So the one play I referenced, and the Giants did this, and I know it's on a Giants podcast, but the Giants' ability to use him the way that the Cowboys used Micah 2 years ago, where he's all over the formation, He's in the B gap. He's in the A gap. Now he's rushing wide 9. Now he's coming back inside with a 5-yard head start, lining up as a will. Then he scoots inside to play Mike before the play, and then pre-snap he gets a 5-yard head start on a center. Justin Fields referred to him as having great wiggle. He's just an really impressive player. Aaron Glenn said, he was asked, like, what are your thoughts on Abdul Carter? And he was like, grown ass man. And he's like, I don't know what you guys want me to say. Like, the tape is the tape, and he's a freak athlete and grown man. So Giants got a really good player in Carter, and the Jets where they had the most trouble, and AVT talked about this. Jets started out fast. They come back, and on defense, the Jets started out fast as well. Russell Wilson, I think, started 2 of his first 8 or first 10. Michael Clemens, Jay Tufele, Will McDonald getting home with sacks, incompletion after incompletion, sack after sack. Like, and again, this is no Quinn, no Jermaine. Again, the Giants don't have Neighbors and Andrew Thomas, so like both groups struggling. The Twos Giants offense did better against the Jets Twos defense, but eventually the Giants at the end of practice, had a nice red zone period. But other than that, the Jets defense looked really good. Again, weren't amazing against the run, but against the pass, there was certainly a no-fly zone. That said, Jets re-rack again, right? 1s, 2s, 3s. Now this is going to be a move the ball period, but it's going to be a second and long and a third and long period. The Jets offense ran 10 plays from the ones, and 8 of the plays were terrible. Not going to sit here and pretend that they were good. They weren't. They didn't run the ball well. They gave a couple sacks. There was a drop in there. Fields missed high. His one biggest flaw right now in camp is occasionally, and it's been limited recently, he sometimes drops that back shoulder and sails a ball or two, and threw one away. So Giants defense kicked their ass that second period. First 2 periods, the Jets offense looked awesome, carried over from Saturday. There was a lull. AVT talked about it. The one really nice play, second and long, Giants, bring a stunt. Abdul Carter, lined up wide 9, kind of stunted in the A gap. AVT got out with a screen, and Brees took it 40, 50 yards, and it was the best run screen outside of Saturday night I've seen the Jets run in quite some time. Even the Steelers won last year. The Jets had a really nice screen, and Brees Hall, that wasn't even executed well. Brees just turned into a superhero. This was really nicely executed. I asked AVT after practice. He said it's a lot of timing. The screen game's going to be a weapon for them. That he wants to get out in space. They need to do that to mitigate some of the pass rush and things like that. So that was the one positive of that period. Other than that, Giants won that period handily. Again, defensively, I have no issues with the Jets right now, really. And these small issues are health and things like that. So I'm just not going to focus too much on it because I wasn't. Tomorrow when I'm there, I'll watch. I'll watch more of the defense and things like that. But the Jets come back, and that was a 10-play, 3 separate racks. Again, the Jets just did not play well during that period. That said, the Jets come back down in the red zone. I thought looked a little bit better. Brees had a really nice kind of catch, spin move, and looked really like a huge weapon out of the backfield. And then a couple of plays, and then final play, Justin Fields kind of did a baseball second baseman to short kind of turn and hit Jeremy Ruckert on a sidearm. Really nice play to end practice. So in terms of the team periods, in terms of who won the day, the Giants defense started off slow. The Jets offense started off fast. The Jets dipped. The Giants picked it up and were really damn impressive in that second, bulk period. AVT said Fields got in the huddle and was like, we got to pick it up. Let's go. Which you like to hear. And I think, and again, asking AVT, I was like, is that your job? Is that on, Simpson? Who's that on? And he's like, Justin wants that responsibility and took it over. So again, little things you like to see. I'm not trying to paint lipstick on a pig here. That period wasn't good. And it was a half of the really big bulk plays and move the ball. So did the Giants maybe technically win the day? Sure. From a certain perspective, if you weight heavily that second and third and long period, yeah. Aaron Glenn said it was ups and downs. I was more impressed with, want to be a positive, the Jets started strong and finished strong, something that they've traditionally sucked at. So I thought Fields had a pretty nice day. I think people had him at 7 of 12 in terms of 11 on 11. If you count 7 on 7, he was 14 of 21 or 14 of 8, whatever. I don't know, 14 of 19, whatever it was. 14 of 19. He took off with his legs once. Again, they executed the screen well. Tyler Johnson stood out. Mason Taylor was probably one of the best players on the Jets offense today, if not the best. Braylon Allen, Brees looked really good as a pass catching threat. Again, I thought AVT looked good. Membu struggled. To be expected, nothing to worry about. Overall, only 2 kind of middling fights-ish. Tyler Barron kind of got into it a little bit with the Giants guys. And at the end, Fedarian Mathis, leveled somebody and threw a punch that, I would say John Jones would have been proud of on the ground. So overall, like a good practice. It was entertaining to be around. They got a lot of reps in. Again, disappointing to not see Sauce Neighbors, disappointing to not see Thomas McDonald, disappointing to not see Q against the Giants' interior offensive line. I thought Dart made some nice plays towards the end. He had some decent reps. I thought Russell Wilson looked really good in the red zone. He looked horrible in 11 on 11 and looked horrible in 7 on 7 and when he can't get hit. And, he looked good in the red zone in that period. Tony Adams got beat a few times in zone. Overall, productive day for the Jets. I don't think this was a bad day. And if you want to see the Giants won the day, I'd probably argue it was a little bit the other way around. But again, both teams are really good at certain things. And the Giants defensive line won some periods that were awesome. Like, it was really fun to watch. Transparently, it doesn't matter. You root for the Jets, Giants. It was like, holy shit, Abdul Carter's awesome. Dexter Lawrence is awesome. Brian Burns is really good. Kayvon Thibodeau kind of is mid, but as your fifth best option, pretty impressive. Darius Alexander, a guy that I know draft guys loved, and I really like down in Mobile. Looked really good as a rookie. Jets defense I thought was really good today. I thought Glenn had obviously some great quotes after. Other things, again, John Simpson was back. Jermaine's back in practice. He described himself as a Ferrari with, being kept in the garage, and, he's going to run through a mother effer's face the first time he gets out there. It'll be interesting to see how the Jets respond tomorrow. I think there's going to be some sense of urgency of kind of, probably see a couple more fights tomorrow and things like that, just based on these guys get sick of each other. Specialist-wise, I know it's whatever. Pritchett had a really nice day again. At receiver, not just, catching punts, but I think he's got the leg up over Gibson. What else? I think that's really it. Joe and Connor will be on the feed. Buy your live show tickets. I'll have more post-practice tomorrow, but just general recap again. Thought, Giants and Jets offense, defense beat each other up a little bit. I think the Jets defense certainly won the day, and I think the Giants defense, because of how dominant they were in that 10-play period, probably slightly won the day, but I don't think it was a bad day from Fields or a bad day from the Jets offense, just based on 7 on 7, how they started, how they finished, I thought was impressive. Again, Mason Taylor was awesome. Brees in the passing game. Brees and Mason Taylor are probably going to be second and third in targets. And if you told me Brandon Allen was fourth or Isaiah Davis, like, I wouldn't say you're crazy. So again, offensive line a little bit up and down. But again, great front, kind of iron sharpens iron, to be expected. So appreciate it for listening. Look out for Joe and Connor's pod coming on the feed later tonight, and we'll talk to you guys soon.